We continue our reading of God's Dream for You, The Chosen, a morning devotional by author Dwight K. Nelson. Today's reading, December 1, The Issachar Factor, Part 1. Of Issachar, those who had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, 200 chiefs, and all their kindred under their command. 1 Chronicles 12:32. As we count down to the hope of crossing over, an entire generation of the chosen, watching, working, and waiting for the return of Jesus, don't you wish we could predict the future as well as this little device predicts the weather? It's a cheerful little ribbon of yarn woven in all the colors of the rainbow. The instructions that come with it are simple. 1. Hang outside the window. 2. Check each morning. 3. If it's wet, it's raining. 4. If it's stiff, it's freezing. 5. If it's white, it's snowing. 6. If it's moving, it's windy. 7. If it's faded, it's sunny. And 8. If it's gone, it's ripped off. What an ingenious device. Works every time. Don't you wish forecasting the future were that simple? Once upon a time, there was an ancient tribe who had the uncanny ability to do just that. David had just vanquished his enemies. King Saul was dead. In today's text, the tribes of Israel were aligning themselves with their new young monarch. And in the middle of their listing came the same small tribe of Issachar, with a unique identification marker. They understood the times and knew what Israel ought to do. What if that were the identification marker of the chosen today? Didn't Jesus all but command us to embrace this Issachar factor? In Luke 12:54-56 and Matthew 16:1-3, he exclaimed, "Look at you! You can read the signs in the sky. Red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning." He really did refer to the pithy meteorological proverb, but you can't discern the signs of the times. That is, why don't you become like the little tribe of Issachar and understand the times to know what the chosen ought to be doing? For example, what should the chosen understand about the endemic fear that throttles our society? We're afraid of everything. Pandemics, terrorism, economic collapse, ecological meltdown, migrants, our neighbors. We fear even fear itself. But didn't Jesus predict a global pandemic of fear just before he returns? Quote, "People will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world." End quote. Luke 21:26. Should the chosen be afraid? Hardly. People who are afraid wring their hands and hang their heads. But not my followers, Jesus declared. The pandemic of fear must be met by the posture of hope. Quote, "Now when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your head, because your redemption is drawing near." End quote. Verse 28. This concludes our reading today of God's Dream for You, the Chosen.